You know what a bootstrap entrepreneur is, aren't you? Don't you?
Yes, I do. It's we didn't have I guess the way I'll state it is we didn't have ideal conditions. You know, ideal time parameters, ideal financial parameters. It wasn't ideal. And this being with my family, we had to bootstrap and be very resourceful and consider all of the resources that we were bringing to the table. But it wasn't like we just walked in and we had everything all lined up perfectly. We had to bootstrap it to success.
So you didn't buy a McDonald's franchise.
No, we did not.
Far from it. So if you buy a McDonald's franchise, yes, you could bring new products to Amazon. You get the similarity here because they have all the systems and the support in place. And what's required from you is basically a lot of cash. And bootstrap entrepreneurs, we generally don't have the cash. We have to put the pieces together ourselves. I know Anne is a bootstrap entrepreneur. She's done it many times. I'm a bootstrap entrepreneur. I've done it many times. One of the questions that we were asking our EBS team in a team meeting the other day was, what was your first business? And I created a business when I was in high school repairing band instruments. So how did I do that? Well, it wasn't because I had this whole wad of cash and a big company behind me to support me. No, I had to bootstrap myself. And I've done that again and again and again. And I think that's a commonality among our members, that we attract people that like to do it themselves, that have that self confidence, that ability. What are some of the trademarks or the traits that you see in our members, Anne?
Self-determination is really that you are willing to determine your future as you're looking at what you want to accomplish. And so I talk to a lot of the folks who are, evaluating coming into e-commerce business school. And what is compelling most people is they want to create a different future. That's what's most compelling. And I see that as a self-determination factor, that you've determined you're going to do something about it. So I see that as the biggest quality. Beyond that, in terms of success that I see within our members, is you have to remain consistent and you have to have self-discipline and treat that. I always liken it to the metaphor of having a newborn baby. If you don't take care of that newborn baby every day and nurture that little one, that little baby is not going to make it. And that's the same for your business. So that's why we say we're a heart-based business. And we teach you folks to have a heart-based business because your business is going to feed you in your future. I think Roberto and Selena, they have definitely been self-determined and disciplined. And now they get to eat from the bounty of the hard work they put in. They're going to Austria, Germany, and Switzerland in June as a result of that self-determination.
Yep. And that last one that you said, the self-discipline, that's my last mindset strategy. So let's get into these. And by the way, as you're watching this, if you relate to this, I'd really like to know. You can put it in the chat. You could say, I have that mindset strategy in spades, or maybe that's the one that you really need to develop. So let us know. I'm happy to talk about that a little bit more. Yeah. So the first mindset strategy for bootstrap entrepreneurs. Remember, we're not getting a McDonald's franchise. We are creating this business ourselves. And the first one is to trust the system. Now, I'm speaking to you, our members at e-commerce business school, because I hear what you say about feeling lost, not understanding where your progress are. We're doing a progress check. And this very first mindset strategy, trust the system, is vital. You've got to do this first. So we talked about these different models, right? These different sourcing models, arbitrage, wholesale, liquidation, private label. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And the nice thing with Amazon is that there's so many different ways to do business on Amazon. There's lots of different wheels here available to you. If you are new and you're learning how to sell on Amazon, how to evaluate products, start out with arbitrage and just know that wholesale and liquidation and private label, print on demand, all of these different models are available to you when you get the skills the confidence, the capital, when you have some of the systems in place, know that these other models will be available to you to expand in. But start with arbitrage first. That's the simplest. Number two, not only trust the system, but trust yourself. And I see that most people come into e-commerce business school and they start doing this and they have one of two questions. They say, does this model work? Or can I work this model? Does this business work? Can I work this business? And this is what trust yourself is. If we know that the system works, now you have to trust yourself to work the system. So again, there's basically three processes here for an Amazon business.
Can I put an extra word about that?
Yes,
About trusting
please.
yourself? Okay, I think about Vu Nguyen. Some of you know who Vu is. He came in about February of 2021, and then he was in a student success call. And what was so remarkable, granted, he is a business owner, has opened up numerous nail salons. I think he's opened up his third one last year, if I recall. But nonetheless, when he came in here and he's, we're showcasing success. We do this every month, student success. He said, I showed up to succeed. So that's trusting in himself. He's not chewing his fingernails. He's like, I showed up to succeed. And it was very volitional. And so if any of you struggle with that, it's just something you can tell yourself every morning, every night, I'm showing up to succeed. And I just spoke with a new member yesterday, Leah, I'm going to say her name incorrectly, Lee Liani. And she said, Ann, I'm a fighter. And I don't want to go into her situation, but I got to tell you, she has a lot of odds stacked against her. But she said, I'm a fighter, I'm determined. So she's just grabbing the bull by the horns. This is a personality makeup attribute. If you don't have it, you got to find it. You're going to need some grit and some grr factor that, shore up your personal mindset. If you feel like, in fact, if you want to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, the 10 being, I got this. You're talking to me, I got this thing. Or you're like on shaky ground. So that's something you need to work on. I would encourage the 10-day accountability bootcamp, which starts on Monday, by the way. But go ahead and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10. Do you show up to succeed? You got that. You got it. You're pumped up. You're stoked. Instead of, we can move towards whining and complaining, but you go, no, okay, so it's a little bit hard, but I got this thing. I'll go watch the training again. I got this thing. Go ahead and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how you see yourself.
Okay, I'd like to see that. Scale of 1 to 10. Put that in chat, if you will. Let's go on to number 3. Visualize the fulfillment of your big picture. Remember the picture of being lost in the midst of the trees? Well, you do have to rise up and look at the big picture here. And it starts with the end in mind. Now, we talked about this in a previous Saturday morning live, Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The second habit is beginning with the end in mind. What's the purpose of what I'm trying to achieve? What outcomes do I want? Why do these outcomes matter? What will what I'm about to do move me towards my outcome?
I'm just going to say there's comments that have been pouring in about the scale of 1 to 10. I feel compelled to read off Teresa Clark's. She says, this business with EBS has taught me to trust the system and to trust myself in the process. It has been and continues to be a beautiful process as I am so close to the 100K club. I can feel it with about 20K to go. I'm a 10. Woohoo. And I do see that with Teresa, but she is showing up and she's engaged and she's a great student, keeping, grabbing the bull by the horns. So thanks everybody for sharing there.
Teresa is one of our Ecom exec members, and she participated in the first quarterly planning workshop in January of this year. So I know that the 100K club is one of her goals. That's that end in mind. Well, it's not the final end for her, but she's definitely had that as a target. I'm trying to get there. And what I've been encouraging our ecom exec members is to imagine what it's going to be like for when they do arrive.
It shows a sense of fierceness. Can I say that? Yeah, I think I'm going to say that, Brian. A level of fierceness as opposed to, I don't mean to be dismissive, but weenie mode, one might call it. There's weenie mode and there's a fierceness. She is in for the fight, and you do need to fight for your business, right? It's your business, which is you're fighting for your future. So you do need to develop that level of fierceness and tenacity. And it's so empowering when you feel that and you go, I wonder what else I can do. This is awesome. I love this. There's nothing to compare, like it's a mega endorphin, or what do they call it, a dopamine hit. When you accomplish that, you're on that mountain, Tracy, you're gonna be there and you go, all right, now what's next? It's so fun, folks. It's so worth the fight and the fierceness. It used to be said, if you're not online, you're not in business. That's from like 15 years ago. All right, now it's that if you're not on Amazon, you're not in business.
Regardless of that big dream, you've got to build a foundation. You have to have a business that has cash flow.
You need more cash? Go out and source some more. Shove those products into Amazon. What's going to spit out the other end is profit. It's that simple, isn't it?
Then they start looking at it as, this really is a system. So how can I add more to my system? How can I start to scale this?
That's why this is so integral, each pillar leading up sequentially to that long-term reliable business.
These are the real assets then that somebody who wants to buy a business, this is what they look for.
This is the brand launcher, the career launcher, the income launcher. It's a beautiful thing.
And I know you're going to love what this can do for you. You're going to get a vision. You're going to get a vision to grow your business, to sell it for a profit, kind of show your pals, your friends, your family.
Yes, you can make $1 million just selling on Amazon alone.